If you really want to start winning fights, let's just cut all the bullshit. You need a meta weapon. You can use other weapons that's not in the meta, but it's just not going to perform as good as a meta weapon would. Stop using trashy weapons like one-handed arcane or a random nature staff, or stuff like Heron Sphere or Whispering Bows, or all these weird weapons. Stop trying to be special. If you want to start winning fights and stop complaining about losing, just go for a meta weapon. And there's so many meta weapons to choose from in this season. Now there are loads of different meta weapons to choose from, and I'm just gonna speed through the ones that you'd want. In the Warlock tree, there's literally nothing here that you'd want to use for meta. Chill Howl's a good choice in the Frost tree. Nothing in here is good for the meta. Flamewalk Staff is the meta right now. Nature Staff is garbage, don't use that. Shapeshifters, there's nothing meta in here right now. Code Staff, there's nothing meta. Spear, Daybreaker's meta right now. Daggers, we've got Bloodletter and Deathgivers. These are the meta weapons, and bows are busted in this meta, so you can choose a lot of options here. The regular bow, Sky Strider, both Badon, and you can use the other ones if you want because bow is actually busted right now. There's the Arclight Staff, the Arclight Blaster. This is really good in this meta. There's nothing good here. Our Fist is decent, but it's not completely meta right now. Tomb Hammer and Great Hammer paired with Hellfire Pot and Smuggler's Cape is everywhere right now. Maces, there's nothing good in here. Axes, there's nothing that's in meta right now. Yeah, there's nothing here. Swords, we've got the Infinity Blade, and Claymore just got a nice buff last patch, so this is pretty decent now, but I haven't seen it in the meta right now, but this is an honourable mention. And that's pretty much it for all the meta weapons. Let's just look at this fight for example. This guy's using a Daybreaker, typical meta build, and I'm using a Deathgiver, which is also meta. He can win this fight if he plays good. He's got double purge, his Helmet of Valor and E. His Helmet of Valor can be used to reset my Q stacks, and his E can be used to purge my E. So if he plays well, he can win this fight. He is also higher IP than me, so I do OC this fight, but it doesn't really make that much of a difference. It's pretty much fair IP fight. At the start of the fight, I boots right onto him and stack as much Qs as I can onto him. Right here, he E's away. There is no reason to E away. I know what he was thinking. I've got 3 stacks, so he's trying to E away so I don't get my E onto him. But you'd rather save that for my Merc. I just catch him with my Shadow's Edge, and I will outdamage him in a brawl. Here I Gigapot to reduce the damage and just keep on him like glue. I just call him get away and get his stacks, get his skills back up. He's got nothing right now. He is away and I've pretty much won the fight. He just doesn't know it, but I've won the fight. All I gotta do is just wait for my Stalker Hood and just do my combo on him. Here I boost right onto him, Stalker Hood E, and then a Shadow's Edge onto him to stun him a bit so I can land my Qs and I win the fight. He could have played that well if he actually knew what he was doing and paid attention to his own skills and my skills. It seems like everyone's running Avalonian Fist nowadays, so let me just show you this fight. This guy's just a typical no-brain Avalonian Fist user. What instantly stuck out to me in this fight was his Brazilian Cape. He can reset my Q stacks if he triggers his Brazilian Cape, so I gotta make sure I don't accidentally E after he's purged my Q stacks, because then my E will go on cooldown. Also my Shadow's Edge can cancel his Cultist Robe, so if he was smart he would have switched to Magic Resist, not the Cultist Robe spell, because it's my W literally just counters that. You don't want a W to counter your chest piece. In this fight he just tries to brawl me. I Gigapot at the start of the fight, so because I know he's gonna W me. Here he used Brazilian Cape and my Q stacks resetted, so I keep stacking it again. And here he uses all his skill set without thinking. He just prayed that he did enough damage to kill me, but he didn't. And the second he didn't do enough damage to kill me, I took advantage of that and killed him. The thing is, he should have saved his E for my merc jacket, but he didn't. I don't think he even knows what his E does. When you're fighting in PvP, think about your skills and the opponent's skills, and also read what your E does. I don't think this guy knew what his E does. He literally has a free purge right there on my merc jacket, and he didn't even take advantage of that. Here's a Chill Howl 6.3 full excellence set, you know, just like the typical Chill Howl set. You've seen it all at least once in your life. So right now, if you don't know, if you haven't seen, I've switched my boots to the sprint instead of the assassin shoes, because the sprint will be a lot more better. Plus my Q is on the second Q, not the first, because I'm pretty much full mobility on this set, because I need to avoid his E's. If I can avoid his E's or dodge him, I win the fight. I straight away Shadow's Edge onto him, and notice how I did that little movement right there. I instantly moved to the side after his stun, because I know he's gonna Q me right there. Right now here, I was holding my Q because I knew he was gonna E me any moment. So I dodged his E, that's his first E dodged. And now instead of, I know that my Shadow's Edge can cancel his Cultist Robe, but I'd rather save my Shadow's Edge to chase him instead. So right now I can just use my Merc Jack and get free heals. And if he tries to escape, I've got my Shadow's Edge there. And here I take advantage of Shadow's Edge. So I've got full value of my Merc, and I've got all my mobility spells timed perfectly. His E's coming back now, and right here I dodged it again with my E. That's his second E that he's missed. And all I gotta do is just finish the fight. Still good E, Shadow's Edge, and just kill him. This was a nice easy fight. Chill Howls are really difficult to fight against if you don't know what you're doing. But as a Deathgiver player, you've got so many ways to dodge their E. You've got your Qs, you've got your E's, you've got your Shadow's Edge. There's so many different ways to counter Chill Howl, but I see so many Deathgivers dying to them for some reason. Here's another Frost fight. This guy's on the regular Frost staff, and he is OC'd. I'm OC'd as well, so it's a fair fight. And again, I've switched to Shadow's Edge and the normal sprint. Here I'm just pre-stacking on the mobs before the fight. And his mistake was walking up to me with stacks, because if I can start the fight with 3 stacks, it's going to be such a nice fight for me, and it's going to be really difficult for him. Right here I can Shadow's Edge onto him straight away, but I know if I Shadow's Edge onto him, I really can't do anything, so I'm waiting for my Q to come back before Shadow's Edge. Here a Q onto him, straight away E onto him, and now I'm in a nice position. I purge his Assassin Jacket, and now it's just me chasing him. A Gigapot to reduce any damages. Also, I do end up dying in this fight because rats, you know how mists are, there's rats everywhere. Especially after the reset patch. Here I use Merc. I probably shouldn't have used Merc and should have used it on any rats that come. But it is what it is. Yeah, I kill him and I've got no energy left, so I can't escape this. I tried to go for the exit, but he got his skills in time and he just ended up killing me. How many rats are there in the mist? Like, you can't have a simple 1v1 without at least 5 different rats showing up by every corner. Here's a juicy Badon kill that I got. I switched to Shadow's Edge and first Q. I think these are the best spells to fight against a Badon player. Badon players are meta in CDs. I use Gigapot on his E because you have to use Gigapot on your E because the E does a lot of damage if you just let it hit. Here I'm using my E's to close the distance between us. The damage is nice for the E, but the main thing is the huge mobility the E's give. Here he missed Walker Jackets, which, I mean, there wasn't really anything else he could have done there, but now that he's wasted his missed Walker Jacket, if I time my Merc right, I can get full value of it. He does Soldier Helmet. Right here, he really can't do anything here. All I gotta do is just stick onto him like glue and just do as much damage as I can. I think he does get like a little reset here, but not a full one. So let's just speed this up until we get to the actual part. He missed his E right there, which was huge, and I boots onto the mob to close the distance, and here I did a mistake. I wanted to cast Shadow's Edge, but the mob hooked me, which was bad by me, but what happened after this lost him the fight. Right here I threw my Shadow's Edge, and mid cast of his W I landed my Shadow's Edge, which actually interrupted his W. So he doesn't have a W here, all he's got right now is boots, and if I can time all my spells right, I can catch up to his boots. I E into another E into a Merc boots, or Assassin boots. And this was a nice kill that I got. I mean, he didn't really play badly, but I just played it better. The one thing you gotta know about Deathgivers is time your mobility spells. Like, sure, you've got a lot of damage on your E's, but it's not all about the damage. You've also got a lot of mobility on your E. Definitely if you get a double E with your 3 stacks. So just play with all the mobility that you've got, and time your mobility to their mobility. I see a lot of people trying to PvE and miss in CDs thinking it's good, but it's really not. Here's the first legendary chest that I got was in Stalker, and the next one was in Slayer, and the chests just aren't good. I don't know why people are trying to PvE in CDs. It's a PvP zone, stop trying to rat. So I think I'm gonna wrap it up there. The main thing you need to know about Deathgivers is if you're using Assassin Shoe, which I would definitely recommend to use, you don't have that much mobility, you don't have any sprints, so chasing and escaping is really difficult. So you just gotta make sure to time all your dash spells. You've got loads of dash spells. You've got your W, if you're using Shadow's Edge or Chain Slash, it really doesn't matter, they're both a dash and cover distance. Your E, if you can get triple Q and the double E, that's huge distance you can cover with 2 E's. And you've got your Assassin Shoes, that's another dash. You've got so many dashes to use. Don't just spam all your spells in one go. Actually think about their mobility and time your dashes to catch up to them. You'll see in you've seen loads of fights where I'm able to catch up to the opponent even if they sprint, because I'm timing all my mobility spells. I'm waiting for their sprint, I'm waiting for their mobility spells so I can catch up to them using my dashes. And the damage is really nice on the Deathgivers. Also, you've pretty much got to execute if you can get them to 50% or lower. Just stoke a hood into an E, into another E, into Assassin Shoes, and that's pretty much an execute. If it's not execute, then you just have to keep chasing and glue onto them. But that's another thing, you gotta make sure you're gluing onto the enemy. If you don't want the enemy out of your Q range, because if they're able to go up your Q range and your Q stacks reset, you might as well just die. You're not gonna win that fight if your Q's reset. If you play really well, you can win the fight, but the main thing is just stick to them like glue and don't let them escape. Anyways, I'll leave it there and I'll see you in the next video. Peace. Turned to lovers, yeah, we fell